Welcome back to CryptosRUs. So today, of course, I want to talk about Bitcoin and the resurgence of altcoins, which is, of course, very, very good. We haven't seen this in several weeks, so seeing some strength in the alts, definitely a good thing. But overall, let me share a little bit more about what has happened this week and why it's positive. First of all, this week, like several weeks before, we were threatened by more tariffs, right? For those of us in the US, I know a lot of you guys are overseas, but this all relates. The US and Trump, of course, has been threatening tariffs left and right, and this is something new. Especially, I mean, tariffs aren't a new thing, but so many tariffs all at the same time within such a short amount of time is definitely pretty new, right? So in addition to what was placed on China, Mexico, and Canada, which is still ongoing, they were just delayed for a little bit. We had more tariffs placed on aluminum steel. And also, Trump just signed something that was kind of vague. We don't know the extent of it. Basically saying that there will be more tariffs, reciprocal tariffs on any country with goods or import duties on U.S. goods. So we will be placing reciprocal tariffs in return, basically retaliation tariffs, so to speak. So he stated that. He didn't come out and directly sign executive orders on which products or which countries, but that was the latest thing, right? Turned out to be a nothing burger. After it was signed, the market actually reacted in a positive way because there was not a whole lot that came out from it, right? But anyways, just tariffs left and right. It does seem like Wall Street is reacting, I don't know, more positive, but it's getting more, it's these tariff news are starting to have causing less reaction, right, with Wall Street, which is good. Because again, Wall Street is starting to get a little bit more used to the fact that, hey, there may be more tariffs coming. They may not necessarily be such a bad thing, or we're not going to see the repercussions of them till later, right? So it's kind of one of those things. A lot of it could be, a political move or some type of game to get the other side to play ball, so to speak, right? So a lot of game theory going on right now. So that's the good thing. And I'm sure there will be more tariffs that'll be coming from Trump. But right now, that's the latest. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, this last week we had more of the same, more tariff news. But the U.S. market ate it up. It didn't collapse. And more importantly, Bitcoin and crypto didn't go down. Last week, when we heard that U.S. was going to place this new 25% tariff on steel and aluminum, Bitcoin tanked immediately. And I remember it vividly, it was right after my Sunday walk video. Bitcoin tanked down to like 94,000 immediately. And then it recovered back up during the week. But this time around, it didn't move at all, so that's good. And what's great is when Bitcoin tanked down, like the weeks before, alts got weaker. And I that was my point in my last few weeks, Sunday walk videos and my CryptosRUs videos. The whales, they were very fearful. They were selling off all their alts. They didn't know how to respond to all the tariff news and the economic news. So they were really selling off their alts. That's why alts got decimated over the last, 3 weeks, 4 weeks now? But this last week, things changed. We saw several alts gain. And they're not back to their previous levels, but they saw a pretty good recovery. So that's a major turn in events, which is good. Again, it could be because Wall Street is now getting used to all the tariffs, right? It could be the whales are simply just, Wall Street whales, or whales that hold significant amount of assets from, traditional markets and crypto, whoever they are, but pretty large bag holders, let's just say, right? They're getting accustomed to the fact that, hey, maybe things aren't going to be as bad as it seems. And they're getting more accustomed to the situation. So they're not as fearful. And not only are they not as fearful, they're starting to realize, well, I may have made a mistake selling off all that I did, so I'm going to buy it back. That's what it seems like. Because Wall Street also started recovering too. I mean, Main Street, like you saw stocks recover, and now Bitcoin is starting to recover, and more importantly, alts are starting to recover, right? And this is good because if you think about it, the economic data also they weren't great either. Inflation data that were released this past week, they weren't good. It showed inflation going upwards. And that's the worst thing that you want right now. Inflation going upwards and economic data showing that the economy is getting weaker. That's what you don't want, because Powell doesn't have any ammunition. He can't, there's no good thing that he could do. He can't cut rates while inflation is going up, and he can't raise rates because the economy is doing bad. So he's kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place. And on top of that, there's threats of new tariffs, and that could raise prices even more. So I got all this uncertainty, but despite all that, markets are holding, and more importantly, again, crypto's not getting weaker. And I've been saying this, I know Bitcoin and alts are kind of two separate things, and they are. Bitcoin is the best hedge against inflation. So if there are more worries about inflation, right, there should be more buying of Bitcoin. I mean, honestly, if people truly understood that, all these whales that are panic selling truly understood that, if Wall Street truly understood that, Bitcoin should be skyrocketing right now. Because anyone that truly understands how the system operates knows that it can't be fixed. The U.S. financial system can't be fixed. Financial systems around the world can't be fixed. Everything that's being done are just stopgaps. They're band-aids. The only way you could truly help yourself is really to opt out as much as you can. Right, obviously you still need to have some fiat, have some cash to pay your bills and stuff. But really, you just need to opt out and buy as much of Bitcoin as you can. An asset that they can't control, the governments can't control. That's really it. So if you truly understand that concept, you would buy as much of it as possible. Unfortunately, there are many that still don't understand that. They're buying Bitcoin or crypto, yes, as an investment. They're doing it because they realize, it's the bull year. They see it as a hot investment. They see it outperforming everything. They understand all that, but they also sell it off whenever things get scary because they see it as a risk-on asset. They don't see it as a hedge against inflation. At some point they will, but right now they just don't understand the concept, or they don't believe in it. One or the other, fair enough. But I think eventually over time, everyone will come to see that it's the asset to hold. Obviously, there are certain situations where, hey, you want to profit take, or you have to pay off bills, you're forced to sell, sure. But man, the way some people do it, where they just sell off, they panic sell whenever there's some kind of uncertainty or FUD, and then they buy back whenever there's FOMO, that's just not the right way to do it, right? But this last week, like I said, very, very encouraging. Not only Bitcoin did not go down further, As I'm recording this right now, it's about 97.6. So we are starting to trend upwards. This downward movement, seems to have stopped. We were trending downwards to 94, 95, and people were getting a little antsy, afraid that we might trade down to like 92 and into the 80s. Nope, we're trending back upwards. We broke into 98, 99 recently. It looked like we were going to break into 100K again. And if this trend continues and we start going upwards again, that could be right around the corner. So we are trending upwards, but the alts, it does seem like the whales are buying back and retail continues to buy, and that's good. So this week, I think the biggest gainer or biggest recovery, I should say, is XRP. It's back to like 275. It was just like 220s just like a week and a half ago, and then it slowly crept up to about 240s, and now it's in the 270s. A really big recovery. It's definitely helped by ETF news. I covered that. Also, Bank of America. Someone in Bank of America said all their transactions is now internal transactions are all being used, or XRP is being used for all their internal transactions, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. And also, what's helping it is their new stablecoin. There's a lot of like tether regulations, or fears about regulations that tether can't comply with. For example, new stablecoin regulations in the U.S. that may require them to sell off a whole bunch of Bitcoin, stuff like that. And they can't meet MiCA laws in EU. So a lot of people think Ripple is going to take advantage of that. So that's also helping XRP's case. So XRP made a really good recovery this week. And that's great. Great for XRP Army, but they have been one of the strongest alts for quite some time now, right? So really good to see them come back up. Also, not just them, everyone else. Solana, close back to 200. Cardano, Sui, all these guys, even Injective, a lot of these American-based projects, they're all double digits. I checked, they're about 10, 11, 12% for the week. Again, they're not back to their previous levels from like 3 weeks ago. They're still way below. But it's encouraging to see that we're not on this downward trend. It seems like we have found this bottom. We're coming back up. 10 to 12% gain across the board on most of these for the week. We'll take that. That's a good sign. So yeah, all good, all good all around. There's one other thing that makes it very apparent that altcoin season is going to come, but I think I'm right about this, that it will be led by memes. And this week, it was very apparent that theory is going to be correct. And I said this was an unpopular opinion, and I know some people have pointed out, other people have called it, but I called it very early, and it makes a lot of sense. Previous cycles, altcoin seasons were led by Bitcoiners, by retail. Retail made a whole bunch of money with Bitcoin, and then they sold off Bitcoin and used that money, the profits, to buy alts. That's how it worked. But this cycle, it's not retail leading Bitcoin, it's the institutions. They're the ones that have been loading up on Bitcoin and making all the money, not retail. So, where's the money coming from, right? Well, I think it's going to come from memes. That's where it's going to come from. So this past week, CZ got into the meme game. Even though he himself didn't come out with one. How it started this is he tweeted out some demonstration video on this test coin for Binance. And someone created a test meme and it blew up because he was, tweeting this video or videos about it. And he's like, oh, I didn't know, it would blow up and this and that. He was just like pretending like he didn't know he had pump power, but of course we know he does. And then he said, yeah, people, he basically challenged people to create one of his dog broccoli, and people did, and it blew up. And it caused PancakeSwap's volume to blow up. It caused BNB to blow up. And that's just from one man. One guy, right? And one meme, it got more volume on BNB just from one meme than all the dApps and memes that existed on everything else. On everything. And more volume, BNB had more volume just from this one meme than Solana, than Sui, than Tron, than everyone else. That shows you how much volume memes get, right? So where's the money going to come from with or for altcoin season? It's gonna come from memes. It's definitely gonna come from memes. So I think as this bull run continues on, what's going to happen is more money or more memes will be created, and more money will be going into them, and people are going to take profits. People are going to take profits, and then they're going to use that money and put into more memes, or they're going to buy the underlying chain tokens required to pay for gas fees. In this case, it was BNB. That's why BNB skyrocketed. And that's how altcoin season is going to start, right? There will be legitimate use cases for sure. There will be still some dApps and some chains that will still do well outside of memes. But I think majority of the money will be coming from memes. I really do think that's going to be the case. Whether you like it or not, I think that's what's going to happen. But it's crazy that one man was able to do that. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. But yeah. But outside of CZ, I don't know if you guys, someone else told me this too. Argentina's president created a meme coin. This is very like hush hush. I think he created a meme coin and it blew up too. Everyone's creating one. Everyone's getting involved, and it's kind of nuts. It's kind of Wild West right now. While the US, while the SEC, the CFTC, while the new administration's kind of figuring out this new framework, how to regulate everything, it's kind of like the Wild West right now, and people are going nuts. Can't wait until I launch my meme. But anyways, so seeing how last week was, I expect this week to be more of the same. I don't see any reason why this week we should fear anything differently. I will say this, for those of you guys that are playing with leverage, I think you know how volatile the market has been. How 1 minute the market could be up and the next minute it could be down. So I will say this, those of you guys that are playing with leverage, take your profit immediately, okay? Unlike before, where you could maybe leave your leverage open for a while and just let it be. Don't risk it. At this point in time, if you're up a little bit, just close it out, take your profits. There's no point to let something ride. It's too volatile, it's too risky at this point. I kind of learned that. The last few months, man, you just or last month, or I should say, you think you're up a good 10-20% and you're safe, and the next minute you're down 20% because some, you know, tariff news got released and everything crashes, right? So I would say if you're playing with leverage, make sure you set your stop losses and you just take your profit as soon as you can. It's not worth keeping it open. But as for this week, I do think it could be good. I mean, seeing how last week we saw Bitcoin slowly trend up, the Wall Street and the whales starting to get more used to like these like sudden tariff news and bad economic data. I think we can see, you know, slow recovery, maybe even a good rally this week. I don't see why. I mean, we've been so held down. I don't see why we can't rally back up to 100K this week. There's nothing stopping us. There really isn't anything stopping us, right? But I could definitely see us trending upwards and having a good rally this coming week, unless there's some other new tariff, scary tariff that gets announced by Trump. I don't know. I don't think so. And if that's the case, you know, maybe the alts could get back to their previous levels. Maybe not a new high, but their previous levels from like just a few weeks ago. That would be terrific because they're still down. A lot of them are still down like 20% from just like 2-3 weeks ago, right? If they can make that recovery, that would be huge. Huge. That's why, you know, DCA is still the name of the game. That's why it's still worth it. You know, things move very quickly. Things turn around very quickly. And if you're picking up on the projects that you believe in and you know have a future, you know it'll come back. It's just that near term, short term, there are a lot of these small little distractions here and there, and it's annoying because you're wishing they would come back sooner, and then there's another distraction and there's another distraction. But on the grand scheme of things, we're still looking good, and we have moved so quickly, so fast. So you just gotta be more patient, give it more time, right? But like I've been saying, dips are gifts, and we just have more time to accumulate. But it's really refreshing. I gotta admit, of course, it's really refreshing to see this last week be good. We see a lot of alts recover. We see Bitcoin stabilize and recover. And I'm looking forward to this week. And I hope you guys are too. So, that's it for this video. Not much more else to say. I don't think. That's it. Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll think of something good for a Sunday walk video. And then I'll see you guys on Monday. Same time as usual, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And hopefully we open up at a, I don't know, at a better level, I guess. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.